Network together. It's all about connections. Expand your sphere of influence. Build relationships. Be part of something bigger. Be part of Network Together.
The global financial system is due for an upgrade. In 2017, only 19% of the people in the world have access to credit. That means over 6 billion have zero ability to get a loan. Let that sink in. That should be eye-opening to you. Is it any wonder the world has said enough is enough? Opus is changing the rules. Equality for the world through technology. People are the most powerful asset in the world, and it's time that we stand up. We're bringing the future to finance. Please visit opus.finance to learn more.
Well, hello. This is Dr. Karen Perkins with the 7-Figure Jump, and we are so excited for today's guest that we just jumped right into the commercials telling a little bit about them, and that's a lot of fun because we do have a great show today and some wonderful people. In fact, one of these people I met about 5 years ago, and she's been instrumental in changing my life, and I know the lives of thousands and thousands of other people, and I'm excited to meet our other new guest today and new friend. Before we get into that, though, let's jump over and see the man behind the curtain and say hey to Robert. Robert, how are you today?
Hi, good morning, Karen. I'm doing pretty good. Had 3 days of a long weekend and did a little business, did a little bit of family fun, and just actually enjoyed, a little bit of time in my garden.
Oh, gotta love that gardening. So, did you have anything special for your holiday picnic, dinner, lunch?
Last night, I am a fan of Thai food. I feel like Thai food is just a wonderful cuisine, similar to Vietnamese. And what I did was I made Asian spring rolls last night for the family. And
I knew there was many reasons I loved you, but our Thai food thing, you and I, we just.
Well, it's like you can eat Thai food, especially spring rolls, without a lot of guilt. I mean, you feel full, but you don't feel filled. And, that's one of the things I love about Thai food is it's, the health component of it.
And I have to laugh about that because I like it that it's healthy, but I like better that I can make it as spicy as I want, and everybody else is sweating and crying, and I'm just really enjoying it. We lived in India. We lived related for a year.
Yeah, I make it as spicy as I want it to, but it's called the dip. You got to dip the spring roll in it to make it spicy.
It's so funny because we'll go to Thai restaurants here, and they'll say how hot. 1 to 10, how hot? And I'll say 10 Thai hot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you mean 10 American? No, 10 Thai hot. And they usually end up bringing me the jar of the chili sauce so that I can just put it in on my own. And they go, you did 5 spoons. Yes, I did. Everybody else is going, But I love Thai food. I love the spring rolls. I love the dip that you make, that you dip them in. And,
well, I think you just like the glisten that comes from having a 10 hot Thai. So when you walk out of there, they're like, wow, who is that? She is glistening.
What? The funny thing is that I don't glisten or even sweat. The hot doesn't bother me like it does everybody else. And I don't realize how hot it is until the people I'm with start to water in their faces. And I'm like, I guess I did get it warmer than most people eat it, didn't I? But that's part of this show, though, because you do things the way you want to do them, and as hot as you want it, as spicy as you want it, and as international as you want it, as long as you're doing what you love and what's going to move you forward and move you to the next level, the 7-figure jump, be it from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, or maybe it's the 7-figure jump in your life emotionally.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. And I think it really starts there with many people. It's what's in their life. Are they willing to change the things about them and look in that mirror and do things with intention and purpose? I think it always goes back to intention and purpose. And I think for a lot of us in the last 6 months through COVID, we had to kind of go back to the beginning and kind of assess and readdress what it is and who we are and how we're going to connect with our audience again. And sometimes that means retooling and retraining.
And it's never too late to learn, and you should always be learning. I have been driving this weekend. We sadly had a passing in the family. My uncle, 101 years old, passed away, and so we've been doing some traveling to get where we needed to go with that. But I put on the book, and I'm going to forget his name now because I wanted to say it, but the Ready, Aim, Fire, going to the 7 digits immediately type book. But listening to that, it's stuff I already knew in some cases. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And in other cases, I probably taught it at one point, but it's like brand new information to me. It's like, never heard of that before. And I love, though, how he takes the book and he breaks it into sections. And when you're wanting to make that jump, it's where are you going to do it? Are you going to do it from home, which is what a lot of us are doing with COVID?
Yeah.
Are you going to do it from home? Or are you going to do it in an office? What are you going to do? Am I going to be an employee, an entrepreneur, or am I going to sell a product? What product am I going to sell? And then who are you going to do it with? And this isn't just your clients. This is the people you bring into your inner circle. And that's what this show here is. One of the things it's all about is bringing people into our inner circle that can help us and that can train us up and get us going where we want to go. And it's just, to me, I'm so excited for the opportunity that we have. And I'm excited you're in my inner circle, Robert.
Well, I'm excited that you're in my inner circle too. And, one of the things I want to add to that is, it's all about perspective. As we grow older, I read the book when I was, in my early 20s called Think and Grow Rich. And when I read the book, I probably understood and kind of felt maybe 10% of what that book really had to offer. Of course, some 30 years later, I probably am up to about 12%, but no, but it's amazing what perspective will do, because the feeling that I have concerning the book and how it resonated with me was quite differently than when I was in my early 20s. And, what I could draw on, in my personal life, my business life, and even my religious life had changed a lot. And I think a lot of us know what we do, but currently we're changing the ways and how we do things. And I think that that's the magic, of perspective, is being able to go through the different decades and see the change and really capitalize on what you know from the changes that have occurred in your life. And I believe it looks like Dr. Karen's internet connection might be slow or not on right now, but I'm really excited. Normally we go into the straight talk with Dr. Karen, but what I'm going to do right now is, until we get Karen back, is I'm going to bring on our guest to the show. I'm really excited to have Andrea Adams Miller and Ray Pepito. Hi, Andrea. How are you doing this morning?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm so honored that Dr. Perkins was froze and a relatively happy face.
I know. I love it. Well, and might I add that you look ravishingly beautiful today. I think you are an amazing person. I've been blessed to be on a show with you before. I'm going to go ahead and, hey, Dr. Karen Perkins. Actually, Andrea and I were just talking about how beautiful and radiant she is, but also that when the thing froze, how beautiful you looked. You had a happy face on. So
well, it looks like Dr. Karen actually did the 7-figure,
right?
I think you did the 7-figure literal jump. You jumped from one room to the other.
I know it. She's the magician. Look at her. She just goes from side to side and back and forth. So what we'll do, Andrea, is we'll
internet working.
Yeah,
I can
no.
hear y'all.
So what
It
we'll
just
do?
the internet it froze up.
Well,
So what
that's
we'll
the one of
do?
the best things about a seven-figure earner is somebody who's in that realm or moving towards that realm is always flexible and adaptable and does it with a smile. So with that, I'll go ahead and put myself back on mute and let you guys get back to what you were talking about.
Yeah, and so what we'll do to
You
keep
can
on
talk to
time,
me,
Dr.
Andrea.
Karen, let's go to Straight Talk by Dr. Karen and make some happen, because I always look forward to your pop rocks.
All right. So we're going to have some straight talk with Dr. K. And last week we laughed a little bit 'cause some of my friends say that they call me Perky Perkins. And, I'll take that, but I'm not always perky. And there are times in life when you don't want to be perky. And it's not that you shouldn't be or can't be or won't be. It's that stuff happens. And as you're hitting the wall and as you're going, really, one more thing, it's kind of like hearing somebody say there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're like, yeah, but I can't find the freaking tunnel. Or if there's a light, it's the train coming at me. Well, sometimes in life, we don't know where the tunnel is yet. And we just have to have enough courage, enough strength, and enough hope. And I use the word hope. Enough hope that things will be better. And you may be on a mountain and you have to crawl around till you find that freaking tunnel. And you may have to grab and scrape and crawl, but eventually you will find that tunnel. And when you find that tunnel, the thing about tunnels is there are two ends to every tunnel. You're going in one, you'll come out the other if you just keep moving. And no, it's not the train coming at you. The tunnel is wide enough. If there's a train, just step aside. But there won't be. It's the other side is there and it's ready for you, and it's looking to have you approach and come and say, here I am. I'm ready for influence. Here I am. I'm ready for great relationships. Here I am. I'm ready for happiness. Because when it all comes down to it, we're all worthy of happiness. We're all worthy of love. We're all worthy of being respected and appreciated. And we're all worthy of having everything we want and desire in life, as long as it's not harming someone else. That is my 2 cents with, 2 minutes with Dr. K. But my straight talk is have hope, have faith, keep holding on until you find that tunnel and then go through it. And my favorite quote, one of many, my sister used to always say was, the sun is always shining. Because even when there's storm clouds and things seem to be amiss, above those clouds, the sun is always shining somewhere. So that is the straight talk with Dr. K. The sun is always shining, and hold on, get through those tunnels. Ready to go back to a commercial break, and then after that we'll bring back our Andrea and our other exciting guest, Ray. Every transformation starts with the vision. Are you ready to enhance yours? Join empowered women who have the answers at the Envision You Summit on September 19th. Come virtually and spend the day with 11 powerful women as they guide you through relationships, self-reinvention, moving beyond abuse, and the keys for living first class, and more. Visit envisionusummit.today and register.
Bitcoin Simple. This is Dr. Darwin Perkins. It's all about your future. I speak Bitcoin so you can too. This is Bitcoin made simple. Join me at darwinstheory.org. Join the 1% Club and become a #1 bestseller. 1% of entrepreneurs maximize their SEO and marketing. You are invited to become a contributing author for the guaranteed best-selling book, 365 Quotes from Networkers. Contact your show host to find out how. Join the 1% Club today.
Hello, hello, welcome back. And I am so excited to introduce our two guests today. And the first one, we already had on for just a moment, Andrea Adams Miller. I should say Dr. Andrea Adams Miller. She's got 2 PhDs. She is she's the founder, creator, and the owner of the Red Carpet Connection. She's also the executive director of the Keep Smiling movement, where they bring hope and smiles around the world. And oh gosh, she does a lot of other amazing things. She is a publicist, the best one I've ever known, because she's mine and I love her. And she's got some exciting stuff to share with us today, because she has been recruited by one of the companies that I'm not going to spill the beans too much, but the companies that behind everything else that gets going that is awesome and great. And with her today, we're going to bring in Ray. We've got Ray, who is going to be my new friend that I've not yet met. Hi, Ray.
Hi,
Nice to
Dr.
meet
Karen.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, I hear that you are the digital marketing guru and that you've had your company for like over 10 years. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. I wouldn't say guru, but yeah, I love marketing, and I got into it just because I was an insurance agent and I didn't want to pay for leads anymore. So that's how I got into it. It's just been a great ride and meeting great people, and I appreciate you inviting me to your inner circle and as a guest. Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you for being part of our inner circle. Andrea, I know that you and Ray have kind of matched up and lined up, and you're doing some exciting work together that's going to help folks with their 7-figure jump opportunities. And a lot of it is just having knowledge so that they can make decisions on what steps to take next in certain areas. And I'm really excited because we've already talked about this, and I'm trying not to spill the beans. We've already talked about this. So I'm really excited. But tell us a little bit about you and Ray, your connection, what it is that's going on, and
Sure.
you just fill me in.
So as an international publicist, I wasn't surprised when a friend reached out and told me that he wanted me to look at a project and see how I might be able to make some connections for them. He knows me as an influencer and wanted to tap into my expertise and to my knowledge of the people that I know in the world. And when he brought me into the group is called opus.finance. That's OPES.finance. And when I came into the group, I didn't know what to expect. In fact, I knew nothing of what I was coming into, which often happens. People are like, Andrea, we need you. I jump ship and go in. I just jump into the water and figure it out while I'm there. And I got to meet Ray Pepito, who is one of the partners there with Opus Finance. He's also, if correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, you're also a partner with Opus, OPES, which is the founding group of Opus.finance. Is that correct?
That's correct, Andre. Yeah, they invited me about 5 months ago. Yes, and yeah, my partnership on there is called Media Blocks, and you'll see that Opus is a big thing. There's a lot of partners, pretty amazing, and yeah, it's been a ride, Andre. It's been a ride.
Well, so what this means is, so for me, when people ask me, what do? I say, I meet dreamers and visionaries, and I assist them to take and implement into action the steps for their dreams to make them bigger than they ever dreamed possible. Well, little did I know what dream I was stepping into here. You know what, Ray? Maybe this is not going too far. I would venture to say we are in a reality almost like a Walt Disney, but the real world. You know how Walt Disney created both Disneyland and Disney World with these different islands of hope and imagination and creativity and wonderment. Well, we're creating that as Opus.finance with as a a group or a selective group from Opus, and there's many more groups to come, many more projects in the works. And it's about creating a world of decentralization where it's for the people, by the people, where everyone gets to help in the creativity of making these islands of magic. And when I say islands of magic, I mean we want to revitalize and decentralize banking, agriculture, real estate, energy, philanthropy, just to name a few. And Ray, when you came into this and you found out, what this was all about, what brought you in? Because I hadn't got to hear this yet, Dr. Perkins. So I'm going to ask him that for you.
I was going to say, thank you for asking that for me. That was my next question.
Well, I appreciate it, but yeah, mainly it was marketing, but it was a friend of a friend that got me in touch to one of the one people that are the main developers, the ideas, the brains behind them, some of it, some of the what's building of it, and for 2 days, we were just talking. I didn't know that I was being interviewed. I didn't know anything. We were talking like just regular two guys talking. It was the day the pandemic started, that first day when everybody started getting locked down. And yeah, we just had some discussions, and the third day, he invited me and introduced me to the other partners, and said, this is going to be this is the new last. I guess they would call it a legacy partner. They're one of the founding type first 24, and out of 200 other businesses, he chose me, and he chose me for really just one reason. Throughout the whole talk, I was just talking about helping people. I wasn't talking about money, wasn't talking about how I could do this. And there's a special thing in Opus about the number 38. That's how the coins and all how that work is 3838. There's a special thing for one of the main fellas that kind of created this. And I said, as he was taking notes while we were talking, I said help 38 times, and there you go, ding. So it's just neat how things work, and then from there, I just started going and doing my marketing things for them, and bringing other people in. I met you through one of the other projects we were doing, Smiles, which is perfect, right up exactly what you do, and it's just neat. It's just neat how everything knits together perfectly, and it's exciting. Like you said, I know there's a lot of difficulty going on in the world right now, but that's why this is a perfect time. I mean, my goodness, what a great time to completely shift and change the world, to look out for people. They're ready. Everybody's ready.
I love that. Well, tell me, in fact, I don't know who to ask, Andrea or Ray, but Andrea, who is the brains behind? She's like, I am. Seriously, who's the brains behind this whole Opus awesomeness that you guys are talking about? And what is it that they have their hands in creating, and some of the other things that they've done?
I'll start, and then Ray will fill in the other pieces because he knows some of the other pieces better than I. So when I came into this, by the way, I came into this because of the Keep Smiling movement. There is another project called the Smiles Project that Ray is now in charge of. And when that was brought to me, it was because of the Keep Smiling movement. And it was because of my knowledge of publicity and my access to people and the ability to have influence, that they were like, Andre, we would like you to come and look at this other project. And in moving and merging to that, what I found is it's when you think of like who's in charge, the fun thing about this is no one's in charge of Opus.finance. Opus.finance is a collective of people who've been brought in for their special skill sets. So I am very, very honored. When it wasn't until days in, I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no idea what the project even was. I just knew I was brought in, and I was just taking it all in. And whatever I did within the first couple days, and Ray, you can explain this better than I apparently did something that they said, Andrea, you're not hired to do this. You now are elevated to partner in this.
Yep.
So I'm actually a partner of Opus.finance, which is a really big deal once we tell you more about what Opus is. But when I say it's a collective of these minds, we're all brought together to figure it out for the people. So we are considered people who are representatives of society, who have a special gift or talent to be able to move people's voices forward so that we can get and capture their voices, give them the power to have more of a voice, even separate from us, so that we're no longer representatives for them, but actually catalysts to help them have a voice for themselves. Ray, how would
do you
you
help them have a
answer?
voice?
Yeah. Yeah.
How would I explain it? Well, when we had that first partnership meeting, it's literally like you said, Andre. I mean, the people who kind of had the funding and put it together, they literally handed it over to the rest of the partners. That's what decentralized really means. When you build these type of blockchains, it's all transparent. Everybody's going to be able to see who's doing what, who's building what. And really, there is nobody at the top. That's where this shift is going to start happening. When we can flip that pyramid that everybody sees, when we can flip it on top of its head, and people are at the top, and then it trickles down to I guess you would call them the powerful, but that's even going to change. This is really a revolutionary type of idea, and it's only through technology. Technology. It is exciting times to be alive, because it's going to change in so many type of industries. I mean, I could go on and on about that. For me, it's a great time and an amazing time to be alive. During these times that we're living, technology gives us the capability to drastically change things. And I'm not talking about a little tweak in efficiency for some kind of little business or something like that. With blockchain, you can make a truly type game changer type thing. It's like putting a new lane in a highway, a business. And it's, I'll go in. I don't want to spoil either. I don't know if you want to talk about it first, Andrea, but we're talking about big things here. Like go ahead. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm giving, it was like, okay, there's a big reveal coming out, and I think you've revealed quite a bit of it. That's pretty cool. What I understand, and what I'm understanding, and from previous conversations that we've all had, what I understand is that, as Andrea says, that you're giving people the voice. What you're doing is you're helping these 7, 8, 9, 6 figure people have a way to continue their affluence, but also a way to leave a legacy and help out others. And I like the way that you're going about doing that. And so I want to know a little bit more about the 7-figure earners that are behind this movement and some of the things that they may have done. And then tell us, how is it that you are helping the people have their voice, and give us that big reveal.
I'll go ahead and start. So the players, the Opus, OPES partners that Ray's part of. Now, Ray is being public right now. However, the other ones have decided to be quiet. And not because they have anything to hide. It's because they don't need that. We actually pulled Ray out. We're like, come on, Ray, come out of the back, come into the light. And I begged him to come on with me because while I'm being a spokesperson or representative for Opus.finance, because Ray is part of the original partners, I did want someone to be a face of those partners and why they're present. Now, when you said that, when Ray said that he was chosen to be the last of the legacy partners because of his willingness to help humanity, because he had said the word help 38 times in his interview that he didn't know he was interviewing for. It was because the main people who came into this, from my understanding and from talking to a couple of them, they said they either came from money or they earned money to be able to have such a level of being a 7 or plus figure earner. And they realized that they wanted to give other people opportunity to use money because they saw the privilege that money gave them, and they wanted other people to have that and to have equal access to it. For example, if a woman in Nigeria wants to create some kind of farming technology or do something to have a herd of goats, she'd be able to get that, and that would be justifiably as important as someone on Capitol Hill who has access to funding. But either one of them have equal footing to get lending or to get a grant or some kind of a credit card situation to help them to feed people, medicalize something, to make the world better, or to give jobs. And so the people who fronted this, they fronted this opportunity and then literally handed it over to us and said, figure it out. So, and then I wanted to touch on something that Ray said too, when he talked about blockchain. So blockchain, when in a highway, if you think about it that way, think of the highway as having a tube, like some kind of people mover under the highway where people aren't maybe in a separate car. And that tube is see-through, like at the bank. You remember at the bank, some of you have a bank, you put that clear tube and it goes in a clear tube and you can see your money and everything move and go right there. All right, so think of it that way. I have coined the term, I don't know if Ray, if I shared it with you or not, we are transcurrency.
Yeah.
So I'm calling it transcurrency because currency is how it's really more of an energy than a currency, but it's how we make things happen in the world. And if we're transparent and clear, blockchain is that. In the past, it's been called cryptocurrency. It's been cryptic, secretive, don't tell people.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
we're telling everyone, we're pulling the curtain back, like, woo, big reveal here, and letting people know and see everything that we're doing. We decided no curtains in front of us, that we're just going to be raw and authentic for people.
Right. Right.
Well, and tell me a little bit more about the ability to be raw and authentic, and that anybody has access, and some of the benefits for those that are not the ones that are looking for the access necessarily, but just for growth in their day-to-day income.
Right. Well, I can tell you there's an app that's not a secret. And to literally be a part of this network is you take a selfie and you will be on the network. This is how what I'm, and I kind of want to equate it to something. I mean, you could look at like, the three major car companies. There's Chrysler, Ford, and Chevy, right? I mean, they're staples in our country. Ford's been around for over 100 years. And a little company in 5 years have dwarfed them. And it's called Uber. And how did they do that? Do they own any cars? No. I mean, I don't even think they barely have employees. It's down to its essence. It's a button. It's an app and a button. And they've completely surpassed century-old companies here in the United States. That's, again, this is what's amazing with technology. That's what you're going to do with us. You're going to download an app, which is free, will always be free. There's no cost. Everything has been paid for. And you will take a selfie of yourself and you will now be on the system. And it's a new system. If I wanted to send you something, like Andre was going towards with loans or lending or anything, I wanted to give you a gift of $50. You'll be there in 2 seconds. No, nothing. It's just there. I
would like a gift of $50 just to leave my notes today.
That's right. There we go. But that's the cool stuff that's really coming. It's neat. I think the next 2 years are really going to be incredible. The leaps in technology, that's going to happen. I'm sorry, Andrea.
It's okay.
I'm going to interrupt and then Andrea, I want you to finish your thought. But that was interesting. I'm echoing now.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're in double.
I don't know how that happened.
Well, it's because you're so awesome. You're in a different dimension now.
There you go. You're a whole nother realm.
Yeah, I don't know why.
A whole new world.
There you go.
Well, and really, this is about that. I'll have you work with your. Oh yeah, me talking, it's even worse.
I'm trying to see if it's my phone, but it should be because my phone is not on the same system. I don't know what it is. All right, so y'all get to hear me twice because hearing me once is obviously not enough. My
It works.
question is, a lot of people, when they hear about cryptocurrency or now transcurrency, if they're in the end, it's like not a big deal because they're used to having things that are not tangible to hold. Some of us older people don't wrap our heads around that so well. But for me, one of the big things to keep in mind and to look at is, one, knowledge. Learn how to look at the information you've got, learn how to get more information. But those of you who are in the 7, 8, 9 figures, you know you didn't get there from not just jumping. And you don't sit back and wait and wait and wait and wait. If you feel like you need more information, you go and get it. And so that's my encouragement to anyone who may not be at that 7, 8, 9, 10 figure or above place, is when you hear of opportunities where you can potentially do something good for yourself financially and good for other people as well, you want to jump and at least jump fast to find out more information, if nothing else. So I'm going to be quiet so I don't echo.
Well, we'll still echo through your thing for some reason. Oh, it didn't. It didn't right now. So let me elaborate on that a little bit. All right. So you guys understand there are some people behind us that have reached the multiple zeros and are giving to the world so that we can create a system where people have a voice. So how does that happen? How does that start? Well, one of the first things we're doing besides Opus.finance or through Opus.finance is for us to have this cryptocurrency coin, which I'm calling transcurrency coin. And this coin, in the past, cryptocurrency is everybody's been focused on it having a monetary value. And our leadership, although they hate that when we say leadership, they're like, we're not your leaders, we are your equals. So our equals say that the coin itself has zero value. But when you put some asset or some collateral into a pool, that pool gives you the opportunity for some growth that you can now utilize as a vote towards something. And that's really what they want us to envision this more as. Yes, there are people in the world who will be focused on the monetary value of the coin. And yes, that may or may not occur. We can't guarantee that. That comes separate. That comes through people. That comes through interest, other people investing or not investing in this currency. But for us, our purpose of it is that in people putting into the pool, then that gives them more flexibility, kind of a voting chip. So as things occur and as we grow and expand, they have a voting chip towards what we're doing so that they have a voice in it. And that voice may be for themselves, or they may put in a chip for a vote for a voice for someone else, is how I envision it. Mm-hmm. And then as we get bigger and better and more outreach to other people with the secondary, thirdary, that's not a word, things, then we have an opportunity to have growth for that. How would you add to that, Ray?
Yeah, I would like to add currency. What do people think that is? I mean, what is the US dollar? What backs it? Why does it have value? When the Federal Reserve says it's going to print another $1 trillion, do they actually print it, or do they just put another zero on it? Is that that's digital money? How many times when you go to the gas station and you see somebody use Apple Pay and just tap their phone, it's moving this way. The digital currencies, and a lot of the cryptocurrency stuff is a lot of it's backed by technology. And again, here's where we twist it a little bit. Our currency is going to be backed by the most valuable asset on the planet, and that's people. When people use our network and people come on and use us, and other businesses want to get and connect to real people, they're going to use our network. And that's what's pretty incredible about how they really thought this out and planned this out. Is there's a lot of moving parts, and this is pretty in depth. And yeah, I don't know of any currency that's ever been backed by people. So that's how I would talk about currency. Is it's to each his own. I mean, our dollar used to be backed by gold. That it was at least a stable currency then, but a lot has been changing. It's just a different way to think of things.
I feel like breaking out in song. You gotta have heart, miles and miles and miles of heart. And that's really what our coin is about. It's about humanity and giving back
Yes.
to humanity. One of our slogans, so to speak, is enough is enough. People are tired of being ruled and feed, and I tease like it's called a FICO score, but I call it a FICO score because it starts to feel like crap after a while because it doesn't help you. It can actually hinder you, and people can't get out of that. And this is our way of creating something to help people come out of that they're not limited by a mistake in the past, and they might be brilliant, wonderful people, and if we don't give them the gift to be able to move forward, they're stuck. And we don't want that for anyone, to be limited by a poor financial decision when they actually have good business sense. They just maybe needed a little bit more guidance or understanding or knowledge, or in that failure now have learned to be able to move to the next component. And that itself was the learning curve. So
Right.
it's a way to give back.
Yeah,
I love that. And people who know that affluence is something that is a mindset, it's a mindset of affluence, they give back. It's
mhm.
not just give to me. It's I have some, you have some. Let me serve and help, because I know there's enough to go around for everybody. And I don't have to take from you just so I have more. And I love that you guys are saying, you know what? Let's make the main focus here be, what can I do as an affluent person to help everybody, anybody have hope that needs help, know that there's a place to go. And simply doing it by taking a picture of myself smiling and saying, hey, here I am, I'm on your app, and then taking the steps from there.
Because it's a universal law. You do good for others, good will be heaped upon your head. So that is, and what I'm excited about is there's all throughout history we went to war over these type of things, over shifts like this. I mean, empires were built with lending. We think of armies and all that stuff, but those armies needed to get paid. That's how empires are built. So if we're able to shift this and be able to give lending and things like this to third world countries and things like that, we could truly probably avoid a lot of wars. And I know that these are big thoughts, but if you can do this through technology, it could be the first time in history that might not have to happen all the time. You don't have to go to war over money or over power. We're giving power back to people. And if it's individualized, if it's decentralized, there's no intermediate. And that was a cool thing. I remember speaking with your friend, Andrea, when you had me pull me on the phone, and he said, hey, there's regulations over this. There's all this, that you can't do this, And I was like, yeah, that's true. But I get it now. It's decentralized. If I were to give you $50, Andrea, who's regulating that? Can the government come in and say, you can't give her, you can't lend her $50? No, the government regulates intermediaries. They're regulating Wells Fargo or some big institution. That's who they're regulating. They can't regulate us the people. They can't do that. It's
especially when it stays in technology space. So think about this for those of you who are listening. So if, let's say he gives me a gift of $10,000. But if I take that 10,000 out into US dollars and then spend it on things, I now have taxation things to think about. But if I keep it in a system, trade, barter, use within a system to be able to manage things, to get software, to make things happen, and it's all stays in this space, it's in flow, but it doesn't really have this taxability that we're used to.
There's a lot of differences.
But I'm understanding you're going live, what, tomorrow?
Well, the rumor has it that it's soon. It could be as early as tomorrow. I'll tell you what, Ray and I don't know, because there's a team of us working. I think there's 22 of us, and and we are on this, like, I feel like we're on a gold rush, but like running across the mountains. I'm on call 24/7. So's Ray. We're working ridiculously all time to create this, and It could be as early as tomorrow.
Or
So just get ready.
days
Dr.
later. How
Yeah,
did,
Dr. Karen, that's just a little tool that we're using just to get into this one space. When
One
we
tool,
come out
yeah.
with when we roll out the full idea, that'll be November 15th. We're going to roll out the full thing. This is just one little area that we're doing a cool little tool. And then, yeah, November 15th will be the big idea.
And that is news to me and all of you.
well, get more information. Yeah.
That's right.
In the meantime, how did they get more information about this from you guys?
I'm the spokesperson right now to reach out to, and I'll get you in touch with who knows what if I don't know it in the current moment. So Andrea Adams Miller at the redcarpetconnection.com. You can also visit me through the redcarpetconnection.com. You can also reach us through opus.finance, OPES.finance. And I do believe that we have a contact page. And if there's not one today, it'll be developed very shortly. And that's how we roll.
Yeah,
Well,
and I know that Robert's been scrolling the information. But yes, Ray, one more thing.
No, I was just saying on the website, we have Telegram and all those places. You can definitely get in touch with us there. It's just a chat room. So we're always in. Yeah.
Okay, so in 30 seconds or less, each one of you leave us with your final thoughts and what you want us to remember the most about today's conversation and about being a 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 figure person.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So what we haven't told you guys is we didn't tell you what credibility Opus.finance has in the world. And the credibility is this team has had its hands in the success of the development and technology with things like Google, Amazon, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, monetizing Farmville. You may have heard of some of these things.
Fortnite. They've been very successful in the things that they've touched. And this is such a beautiful way to give back to humanity. And as someone who's had the pleasure of sitting in a mastermind with people on how to get from 7 figures to 8 figures, I've had that hearing to know that when you show up and you're present and you're always willing to learn and know more, that your level of elevation goes up with that circle of people and knowledge that's around you. So each one of you has the ability to be a 7-figure earner and to take that jump.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Ray.
And it's just incredible to be around. You know, we have a lot of, sometimes thinking bad about how the world is, but to be able to be around people that literally want to do good for humanity, and you hear their heart and what they're building and what they're doing. And it's, like I said, there's people in real estate in this group that are building homes, and they're going to give them away to homeless people. There's big ideas that's changing. They're going to feed and build farming in places that don't have stuff. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. So sorry, that's it. It's just neat stuff. Really appreciate being fun.
Well, no, that's awesome. And I really appreciate both you and Andrea being guests today on the show. And we'll have Robert scroll one more time how they get in touch with you. And you can give them the information as it's coming and all the new stuff. And then finally, the big reveal in November. I love big reveals, but I like the little reveals along the way.
That's right,
and
okay.
I want to personally thank both of you for the work that you do. I've been working with Andrea for years on the Keep Smiling movement. And this whole thing here with the humanitarian angle is just so beautiful. So thank you very, very much. And I, again, appreciate you being on the show. And that being said, I'm going to do another word from our sponsor. And Ray, I think your voice is in the sponsor reel we're going to show real soon. So
yes, ma'am.
Hang tight. Ma'am. Let's watch that sponsor reel and everybody notice you hear Ray's voice.
Network together. It's all about connections. Expand your sphere of influence. Build relationships. Be part of something bigger. Be part of Network Together.
The global financial system is due for an upgrade. In 2017, only 19% of the people in the world have access to credit. That means over 6 billion have zero ability to get a loan. Let that sink in. That should be eye-opening to you. Is it any wonder the world has said enough is enough? Opus is changing the rules. Equality for the world through technology. People are the most powerful asset in the world, and it's time that we stand up. We're bringing the future to finance. Please visit opus.finance to learn more.
Well, that was really educational and a lot of fun too. Hey, Robert, come join in with me for a minute. I want to ask you a couple of questions about what you heard.
What I heard was amazing. That's what I heard through the entire segment that you were asking questions. And, there's a lot in the belief system that they're talking about that you and I have talked about. And I believe what Ray said, it's time for a movement. It's time to put power back into the people's hands. And it's time to create a new currency. And Dr. Andrea talked about this trans currency. And I'm going to hijack that word from her. I'll give her credit, but I'm going to hijack that word and use it from now on.
Yeah, she told me trans currency, and I went, I like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I want some.
I want some now. Yeah, no, a lot of great things coming up. And, the folks behind Opus, and they do keep to themselves mainly because it's better on them, and it allows them the opportunity to do more great instead of, getting bombarded by paparazzi and everybody and their dog. But, these folks, they have really been the backers for a lot of great new technologies, new softwares, new ways of living, new programs. And so it's not something that is like, oh yeah, another one of those, take this in the guy's parking lot and he's opened his trunk. So what do what do we got here? So I'm excited to learn more about it and to see how I can help others with my smile on the app and see what I can do.
Well, and other things that I heard that really resonated with me, I look about access, it's all about access, and for entrepreneurs and small business owners, they always need access to quality people, quality information, raising capital, and what I see here with Opus.finance is, they're helping entrepreneurs get a voice. And I think that that's really important because for many of them, they have not had access to being able to have a voice before, and the next thing is for a lot of us, we want to create legacy. We come into this world and what we've learned, what we may even believe in is how do I create the world in a better place than, when I was born into it. And I think with this is, here is one of the things that we all need. If you're a carpenter, you have tools. If you're in finance, you have other tools. But here's a way that brings in quality people and quality information. So instead of growing just a piece within the pie, I see this as actually growing the pie itself.
That's true. That's true. Well, now I want to point out something, and kudos to you. You also do things to help entrepreneurs as they grow and to make a statement and to do things not only with Network Together, but you've got this new book that's putting together, 365 days of quotes for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs. Yeah. And you're allowing entrepreneurs the opportunity to be part of a best-selling book. And that's something that only 1% of all entrepreneurs can say they have a book, and only 1% of those can say they have best-selling books. And those that have best-selling books already, it's always nice to have multiple best-selling books. Take just a moment, if you will, and tell us a little bit more about that, because I know I'm getting a page. I'm going to be in it. And I've got a dozen other people that are going, yes, I want to be in the book too. Tell people how they can get in the book and a little more about it.
Well, we have a website coming up, 365daysofnetworkingquotes.com. That'll be the quickest way to get to the book and find out more information and reserve your page. We have a calendar there that shows to the public what days are left. We are in pre-sale mode right now. We've already sold 62 pages of the book, and that's just on calling. You know, quite frankly, I've called about 40 people of my closest circle myself, and all but one took a page in the book. You know, I have a saying that says, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of all of the little monies to come together to create big money and to create a impact. And I think this book does this. It is about entrepreneurs and small business owners, speakers, influencers, and it's about raising our voice collectively and creating another community together. And with this book, not only will they be best-selling authors, this is a book. How many people can say that will be housed at the Library of Congress? That might look pretty good on your LinkedIn profile or your website or Instagram account, etc. And it's also the company that you keep. I understand Andrea is going to be in there, and Ray, you and I are going to talk because I want you in there as well. You are my next man. I just love hearing your passion and love what you do. So it takes not one person, it takes a tribe of many to create a profound effect. And, I believe if we can get to our 10%, the world will profoundly change, and it'll do it rather quickly. Maybe we're at the 1%, maybe we're at the 2%, but collectively, all of us here right now, are game changers, and we want to see life differently, and we want to take as many people with us, Dr. Karen.
Oh, I agree. And I had somebody say the other day when we were talking about this, they said, "Oh, what? I don't need a book." And I said, "Would you like to have your thoughts or a quote that inspired others to live on in your legacy forever and ever, and to have people have that at their fingertips?" And they went, "Well, yeah. Well, I want to be in it for that." And so it's not just to be a #1 best-selling author of the Library of Congress. A lot of us just want to be able to know that we left a legacy of a thought, a quote, a thought, a challenge, and that people can go back to that over and over and over again and share it with their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids and their next-door neighbor and their friend and their dog and the parakeet down the road and whoever might be inspired by your words of wisdom. So,
and I look at working out, for some of them, who have never been published before, this may be their best first step. And once they found out and they see themselves in the book, maybe they want to be a part of another collaborative book. Maybe they want to co-author a book. Maybe this leads them on a journey of thought that gets into the written word that takes them to the place where they become their own best-selling author, and they create a legacy in a way that they have never found was feasible before. So It's not just about, do I have a page in the book? It's, am I putting on my running shoes for the first time so I can eventually start sprinting? And I think that's what's really phenomenal is a lot of people, when they start hearing that, every journey starts with a step. And for a lot of entrepreneurs, this could be very well their first step.
Well, and I'm impatient. My husband does call me Miss Immediacy because I want it now. All right, so we are pre-selling, and I'm going to have to. That number's changed a little bit, Robert. We're pre-selling, and you and I and Sean, your lovely wife, Sean. So if they want to get in on it and get the good dates, they need to reach out to us, one of us, and they can do it in the comments, and you'll follow up with them.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So in
the contact information into the comments.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on a rerun, we'll go back and watch the comments. But let me just tell you, go to Robert at you're gonna have to give him your email.
The easiest way is let's go to robert@networktogether.net. That's robert@networktogether.net. That's my email address. And I can type it for some clarity right here. Also, you can reach me at 480-299-0088. Again, 480-299-0088. And that is another quick way of reaching out to me. I will respond to you. Sometimes it may not be immediately, but I guarantee I will respond back. But this is my my email address scrolling across the screen.
Yeah. And if you want to reach out to me, I am not pushing it all off on Robert, though. I want him to, he's fun to talk to.
Oh,
but
that's
I'm just
okay.
Karen.
You can push it onto yourself as well. That's okay. You can do that. Push it onto me. Take it on your own.
Well, you can reach me at Karen at drkarenperkins.com. So Karen at drkarenperkins.com. And my phone number as well is 801-949-4940. And I'll say it in a way you cannot forget. It's 801-949-4940. So a lot of 94s. And trust me, texting me is better than calling because I get a lot of weird calls. So call to actions before we wrap the show up. One, call to action, you're going to want to go to opus.com. You're going to want to go to see Andrea Adams Miller. There it is. So opus.finance. So opus.finance or Andrea Adams Miller at the redcarpetconnection.com. Go to one of those, follow up with them, and find out about the trans currency. And contact Robert and I to get your legacy left in a wonderful book. This is going to be a bestseller, and it's going to launch the 15th of December.
And I just want to note it because I always like to say, make a decision based on all the information. The days are going quickly. There's only 365 days in a year. Reserve a date. It could be an anniversary. It could be when you opened your business. It could be your birth date. It could be your child's birth date. But we have 62 days reserved so far. So the year's starting to run out. So if you have a special day, it's $100 for your page within the book. It includes a quote, a thought, and your question that you can pose to other entrepreneurs. And it starts to become a part of their conscience. And that's what we wanted to do. 365 days of networking quotes for entrepreneurs, business owners, and others who want to level up their game and be a part of an amazing community that we're all contributing to.
Yes, and you'll have your contact information in there too. So when people read your thought and your quote and your question, and they're completely and totally inspired by you, they're going to say, "Hey, I want to talk to that person some more." So
and Ray will love
great
this.
opportunity.
Yeah, and Ray will love this. Being I'm an old internet marketing SEO guy myself. Working for GoDaddy and Intuit and some other companies. What I really love about this is it's a great way to really get a lot of good, unique, and quality backlinks to maybe your own book or your own website. So it hits a lot of marketers in multiple ways. So don't be shy from this. Let this be your first step towards great opportunity. Or if you're currently a published author, allow this to also give back some credibility to what you've already done.
I have several, and I'm excited about this opportunity. And I'll tell you what, good publicity helps your SEO no matter what. Your search engine optimization, when you are linked into something like this, it just helps it immensely. And having 227,000 people with my same name, okay, I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot. It takes a lot for me to keep up there in the search engines. And so this is a good thing for search engines.
Well, it's okay. I have about 2.2 billion people with my name and Robert Jones. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Well, I'm going to leave it to you for the last word before we leave for today. But what an exciting show, Dr. Karen. I appreciate what you do for everyone.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, I am so excited again that you all joined us today. We had some fabulous guests, some great information shared, and I really want you to get more information. So go to opusfinance.com and get some of that. give back. I don't know what else to say other than give back and get more information because they have a lot of great things coming up. And then also, seriously, reach out to Robert or myself and let's get you in that book because that is also going to be a way to give back to others. And I am excited because next week we've got another wonderful guest, a guest that gives back and is also known as the business builder in all of the United Kingdom. And we have Mark Walker. I like that. Lord Mark Walker joining us next week, and a good friend of mine, and I know you're going to love him and appreciate him. That wonderful rest of your week. Mwah. Until next time, may you find peace and joy in all that you do.
Thank you for joining the 7-Figure Jump, a production of the iNETrepreneur Radio Network with host Dr. Karen Perkins. Join Dr. Karen each week as she visits with new and exciting guests who inspire, teach, and mentor the secrets behind the 7-Figure Jump. Join us every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.